Look at Graham Parker in Sale, Waterside Theatre, for the Sounds Magazine website. Now, Sounds Magazine in the old days, did it serve you well?
Well, yeah, the first thing ever written about me in the British Music Press, as far as I remember, I'm pretty sure about that, was a piece in Sounds about this size.
Yeah.
Picture of me in the studio, headphones on, shades, said, could this be the new Bob Dylan? So
Yeah.
I don't know whether you call that being treated well or not, I'm not quite sure.
You can't be that, can you?
No.
I seem to remember, I think.
It's all right, but they were pretty good most of the time. They weren't, like the NME got ugly.
Yeah.
They got really ugly,
Yeah.
and they were vicious.
Yeah.
Not at first for me, I was like, yeah, big cheese, and then as soon as they don't like your sort, then they're very ugly. I don't think Sounds got quite that ugly.
A bit more open sounds, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I seem to remember Hotel Chambermaid was single of the week.
Oh, there you go. That's the second album, yeah.
On that, because there's been a website, Facebook chat between lots of Graham Parker fans about Hotel Chambermaid. It's still a lot of people's favourite song, that. And it's been going around my head for 40 years. I can't. If I go to a hotel in Wales and there's a river next to the window, and they just
that's it, you're going, yeah, good.
But the debate is, and much as they love the song, the debate is like, have the lyrics aged? I mean, did they work in a modern age?
Well, I still pull it out the bag and do it, like many of the songs, you know, it's not, I don't do anything every single set or every tour.
Yeah.
You have to drop them, you know, and then replace and, you know, work up some new versions of other songs.
Yeah.
But it still holds up totally. I was doing it with the Rumour, not when we reformed it. And
Would you write a song like that today?
Let me see, what was it? Well, it was, well, no, it's not too far off though, you know, I mean, they change from album to album and different, you know, age, as you age and as you go on. But it doesn't really sound, it's bawdy, it's obviously a bit of a bawdy song, isn't it? You know, and Rod Stewart did the version.
I see it's like a cougar song in a way, it's like...
Yeah, Rod Stewart did a version, it's right up his street, yeah, he did a version on an album called, when we were the New Boys, he did an Oasis song and he did Nick Lowe song actually, and he did Hotel Chambermaid. And you know what, I think the chords are still good raunchy rock and roll and the lyrics, they don't embarrass me. No. I think I can sing them fine.
No reason why they should.
Whether I would quite write from that point of view, I don't know.
It's one of the catchiest songs I've ever heard, you know.
It does grab
and I think it was Sound Single of the Week as well.
All right, good. Good for them.
I seem to. Right. Reckless Eric has sent you a question. You may not like it, I don't know, maybe barbed, I don't know. Reckless.
He's done this before.
Yeah,
sure
no, he's still. Vicky, my wife, put him on recently in Charlton, and it was tremendous. And he was saying about Graham Parker, ask Graham Parker to come back to Woodstock, upstate New York, and go to something called the Blue Aeroplane. I don't know what that is.
The Blue Aeroplane, is it in Phoenicia? That's where he was living.
Ah, right.
Well, I'm not there certain parts of the year still. I'm still in I'm back and forth, and the Blue Aeroplane, I'll look that up, man. I don't know, maybe he's playing there or something.
Yeah,
I think he was doing house shows from his house, wasn't he? Him and his missus.
It could be a night or something, I don't know, like an event or something.
I avoid everything near Woodstock, like the play, you know, the event, anything. I don't go out to see music or anything.
Well, his question was, slightly barbed, I think, but his question was, when you were managed by Dave Robinson, before Dave Robinson started Stiff Records, he signed you to Phonogram, yeah?
Yeah, that's right, exactly, yeah.
And then started Stiff Records.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that?
I think it was as soon as we were in the van together, you know, when I first met him, and it was our first couple of gigs with the Rumour, he'd sit there and rant on about this label, where he would sign all the people that I thought were losers in London. Yeah. All the people who couldn't get a deal, they couldn't get arrested, and I was like, what a sod of lovers, this is where it's at, you know, because I came out of nowhere, I didn't have all that pub rock baggage, where I got the words thrown at me, but I didn't really have that baggage. And all these people he's talking about, you know, I mean, Nick Lowe, you know, I'd never heard of I didn't know what the Brinsley Schwartz band sounded like, I didn't know any of that, and gradually got filled in. And so at Stiff Records, it was like finally he had a vehicle that he could make a few bob from, me, and his dream to make a label where he'd sign up all these pals and all this lot, so they wouldn't have to rely on major labels. Because I was I didn't have the baggage on me somebody heard me and said, we want to sign him.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have signed Mick or Declan or Ian Drury. They wouldn't have signed them right there at that point in time. They signed me, I had no baggage.
Now, you didn't say you had no baggage. You came to Surrey, didn't you? You're a petrol pump attendant in Surrey.
Yeah, that was one of my many jobs.
Right, you got this song. How did you infiltrate that sort of? I hate the word pub rock actually.
Well,
How do you infiltrate?
I put an advert in the Melody Maker, like you do.
Right.
I asked for backing musicians.
Yeah.
I didn't say no breadheads or must have transport because
Yeah.
they wouldn't fit in my Wolsey or anything, I suppose. But I just said into Stones, Van Morrison, Dylan, and reggae, which at the time everything was still prog rock. People don't realise this. It wasn't all punk or anything in 1975.
Yeah.
It was totally prog or Top of the Pops, Triviality, And so I went and met every twit you could imagine, and then finally met this guy, Noel Brown, who had a band called the Tooting Fruities, he started. Him, and then I met Paul Bassman Riley, who played with Chili Willy and the Red Hot Peppers.
Yeah.
Now I knew there was something, they had a name. I'd seen in the Melody Maker and all this. And he said, you should meet this guy, Dave Robinson. And that's exactly all that went down. Dave heard me and said, come in and his demo so we play some songs. And I said, I need a band. He said, yeah, all right, I'm the man, I know all the people. Yeah. So he put this band around me and I rehearsed with this band. Right. And that turned out to be the Rumour Guys. And then he said, Nick Lowe, we'll get him to produce you. And I'm like, I don't know, who the hell's he? What? He was in the Brunswick, what is the bass guitar? All right, bring it around. This tall bloke comes in, he's Nick Lowe. Yeah. So that was it. And then we made Hammer Win, and I really didn't question that part of it because I didn't know anyone.
Did you feel?
I was from Surrey, and people were just discovering Uriah Heep in 1975.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They didn't understand what I was doing when I played to most people. They just thought it was old-fashioned music.
I'll tell you the hot summer of 1976. Heat Treatments. Up there with the Ramones and Patti Smith. I mean, that's what you listen to. I mean, I was out in Cumbria at the time. So that Heat Treatment in particular was like the hot album.
Great.
So I could never understand that. You transcended punk somehow, and punk came along, and you had your best years after punk, didn't you? Post punk. How do you think why did that happen?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the 80s. You would think that would have been awful for me, but in America it was not. It was probably quite a successful period. Strangely enough, as much as anything, I had the Mona Lisa's Sister record out, which came in '88. But even the records that were hated in England, like Steady Nerves, I had my only hit single in America, even though we're talking 39.
What was it?
Wake Up Next to You.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
I mean, it was 39. It didn't get my 39, but that turns it into Muzak, so it was in elevators occasionally. And then, it was. So in England, it was sort of like, oh, he's over. But in America, nobody cared. They still liked the music. It was still doing all right. So I just think I tried to make the best records I could. And Mona Lisa's Sister came out, and then in England they even said, oh, Graham's back, this is a good record, this is something interesting, they liked it. And in America, Get Started, Start a Fire, which was on Mona Lisa's Sister, was on alternative radio and got on alternative compilations next to Smashing Pumpkins. So people, I got a bit of he's an original alternative artist. So wait a minute, what am I, punk rock, punk, new wave, alternative, none of it really, I just write songs and sing.
Is this why you moved to Woodstock?
No, I just, I married an American and spent more time in America, and I was living in New York City for a bit, and in London. I was always back and forth, more than people think.
How did that change your music in a way? Because you always know, and I always know you as a soul singer, you're a soul singer. When you went to America, did that alter? I mean, you're hanging out with people from the band and all kinds
of... I made a record Struck by Lightning, which was 1991, and I put a lot of that country had seeped in, that rural area. I think with the mountains, it's mountainous, it's beautiful. It's only 2.5 hours from New York City. It's unbelievable. We've still got a place there, hang out there. But and I thought, well, this is the album I'll use all these local people, and I got Garth Hudson, what's his name, Larry Hoppen from.
You say local people, but they're big time people, aren't they?
Yeah, that's John Sebastian. He did backing vocals on that record.
Danko was it?
Danko, I did 5 gigs with Danko, So I did soak that in, and then as usual moved on to something else with later on, next record. So it just, all it is to me is that you do a record, it's a painting, you hang it on the wall, you sort of walk around it, you're in the gallery for a bit, you know, you go back and have a look, it's not bad, and then you get fed up with it and you do the next one. And that's exactly as I treat it. So, but there was that phase where I did get quite pastoral even with the songs. And then there was 1200 Episodes, which came out in 2004, which was all open tuning songs apart from just one. I open tuned the guitar to G, found all these different rhythms and got very acoustic. It was like, how do I make something like one of everyone's favourite albums, Astral Weeks. And that open tuning kind of got me into that kind of mood. And so it's just, you just got to try to keep refreshing every record if you can.
I have to ask you, you toured endlessly with Dylan, didn't you?
I did, there was the Blackbush Festival for one thing in 78, which he wanted me on. And then he wanted me on this 91 tour. And we were over in Europe and stuff and playing to these big places. And that was at the same time as Struck by Lightning, and I was playing a lot of those songs. I think I sounded more like Dylan than he did. I don't know what he sounded like, but you know, he was whatever phase he was in. It was good. Whatever it was great. You know, I think it was fantastic. And you know, so to me it was sort of a natural, and the audiences didn't hate me, and I sold quite a lot of records.
How was it like warming up with Dylan? I'm not for every song. It's a strange thing to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really talk to him much. I think if you saw the Rolling Thunder review film, Mick Ronson, he's been on an interview. Says, so what's Bob like? How is he to you? He says, I don't know. I haven't met him yet. It was 2 weeks later. So Dylan would go, hey, you sounded good up there, Graham. Hey, Bob. I mean, what am I going to say? How did you write like a Rolling Stone? You know, what do you say to Bob? Just say, how you doing, mate? Yeah, good show. That's it. You know. And I just liked it. Musically, it worked fucking great. The audiences actually liked me, apart from one guy in where was it, Belfast, who was, Bob Dylan! Bob Dylan! I said, yeah, I remember what was up when I had my first drink, And everyone went, hey, and shut him up. And that was the only guy, you know, however many hundreds of thousands we played to. So it was very lucky. I had a lucky break.
Are you back in England now?
I'm more in London than anywhere else. Once we reformed the Rumour and we did a tour, and suddenly all these promoters are saying, Graham, can you play here and can you play there? It's been so many years. And then I did the Brinsley thing, and it almost seems as though I'm actually doing more ticket sales in England than in America.
So you played Brinsley tonight. You met Brinsley when you first came to London, really, didn't you? You didn't know Brinsley Schwartz band?
No.
But you knew him as a guitarist?
Well, he was in the rumour. Here's this guy Brinsley Schwartz, and I've seen his name in the papers, so he must be able to do something. The thing about the rumour guys is whatever I gave them, whatever I played, I could tell they understood it. They could play it. And that was the thing about them. I didn't know what pub rock was, and when I heard of a Brinsley Schwartz album, I thought, what has this fucking lame country rock got to do with me? Why am I being called this? But those guys knew soul music. They knew Eddie Cochran.
Do you still have that soul? I mean, you do. I'm sure you do.
Absolutely.
You've got soul voice, haven't you? I mean, you can't.
Yeah, I mean, I still use soul styles, and idiom soul. There's still a Dylan-esque and a Van, not a bit of Van. And where does Van come from? Soul music. There's always, my first record had a lot of swing. Lady Doctor, White Honey. The latest record, Mystery Glue, has a song called Pub Crawl. And I've done Bad Things. It's the same groove. And I haven't used those grooves much for years.
So what you do? Say tonight, what are you playing tonight? You're playing with Brinsley, just you and Brinsley. Two guitars. Is it presumably?
Yep, two guitars.
Do you do the old stuff, new stuff?
We do, well, because I've been reminded this is 40 years since Howling Wind came out, and there's a box set coming out on Universal, comes out on September 29th. And so I am leaning on quite a bit of old stuff. I mean, I think it's only fitting.
Absolutely.
With a few mid-period ones, a couple from Mona Lisa's sister, because that was, quite a popular record, and a few that maybe a lot of British people don't know so well, but more the American fans. But mainly we're leaning quite heavily on old stuff.
You going to play Hotel Chamber?
No, we're not doing that one. I did it, I think we did it on an earlier Joe tour. And every tour I said to Brinsley, I want to get rid of these 6 songs. Let's rehearse another 6. Got to do it. Got to revolve it.
Got to do it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's great. Thanks very much.
Great, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time,
Thank you
everyone.
for your time. Thanks for it. It was in the Freshies, by the way.
The Freshies.
Famous band.
You all do those,
I know I do. I remember that name. I'm sure I heard you as well. The Freshies, yes.
Yeah, they're from around the area.
Is that right? Yeah.
Just see me.